Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm so happy to have you. So my future subscribers, welcome back to the channel. So for today's video in particular, we're going to be talking about the third and fourth impeachment of Donald John Trump, the 47th President of the United States. The reason why this is the first video that I acknowledge him as the 47th President of the United States, because he did not win the 2024 election. Therefore, it would be wrong of me to assume and call him that title. However, he is the 47th President of the United States, and this is based off information I have received where I said Donald Trump will become the next President of the United States back in 2021. But I said there's a caveat. If you keep calling him 45, he will not be your president. Once you start calling him 47, then he will become your president. And unfortunately, the collective, I've been calling him 47. Therefore, he became the 47th President of the United States. But anyway, besides the point, in today's video, we're going to be talking about the third impeachment and the fourth impeachment. The third impeachment is going to occur when he's alive, and the fourth impeachment is going to occur after he dies. And so that is what we're going to talk about in today's video. I do have a clip from a video that I recorded back on January 18, 2021. So you guys are going to be able to get a little blast from the past, and then we're going to interpret it with our modern interpretation on that, and then ask Spirit what's going to happen. This is going to be part one of a part two series. Part two series is going to be talking about the Democratic betrayal of the American people. We have been talking about this for quite some time here on YouTube, but it felt more fitting because the Democrats here, the progressive Democrats, have put forth a bill recently to impeach the President of the United States. However, the DNC chairman, as you all know, with David Hogg being removed, had also at the same time had squashed any bill, and he said that they would vote against any impeachment against the President of the United States. So we're going to talk about that in another video, but we will briefly mention them throughout the whole video. But anyway, let's go ahead, let's begin. We have a lot to get through today. I just want to kind of give you a little update about what today's video is going to be all about. Today is Friday, May 16th at 12:18 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as of when I'm recording this specific video. If you want to help out the channel grow, you can do so by liking, commenting, subscribing, hitting the bell icon, engaging with the content, watching the video longer than normal, sharing this video with other people really help not only grow our channel more and more, but also allowed to help the algorithm to say, hey, listen, people are liking the content, let's show it to more people. It really helped that, and also shows you more of my content when I do post and upload. Now, if you want to be notified when I do post and upload, because YouTube does not always update you, you can go into the comment section below or the description and follow my Blue Sky account or my Facebook group, and I will personally be the one notifying you when I do post and upload. Yeah, and as well, I know a lot of you guys have asked about the donation link. It's in the description. It's up to you. You guys can donate if you want to. If not, don't feel like an obligation. Anyway, let's go ahead. We have a lot to get through today. So thank you for being here with me. And let's start. So you guys are about to watch a clip right now about the video was recorded on January 18, 2021, which is 4 years ago. This video is titled Season 2, Episode 33, January 20th Inauguration. So this is essentially this specific video. I will put the link to this video in the description below, and at the end of today's video if you guys want to go ahead and watch it yourself. Alright, so I'll see you in a moment.
How many will it be impeached for a third time? They are talking about impeaching him for a third time because it's suspicious that a guy would need to impeach this many people. Alright, so Spears and Angel Tommy. How many people will Trump pardon in total from now until he leaves office? 7. Is there any more number? Alright, so they told me 7 top official Republicans will be pardoned. Is there anything else that we need to know? Alright, so we have here is a wild card. So there's going to be some wild people that he's going to be pardoning. We have here an 8. We have a 1. Then we have a 3. Then we have a 6. Then we have a 9. And then we have a 6 again. So you might want to add all these numbers up, and that will be the total amount of people that he is going to be, so to speak, pardoning. Alright, so Spears and Angels, tell me about this. If so, how many? Will it be impeached for a third time? Will Donnie be impeached for a third time? What do we need to know, Spears and Angels? Tell me. Interesting. So it does look like there's a potential chance It's almost like another gift for him. We do have here that could be 4 times, so he can have a record of 4 impeachment total. And it looks like a funeral, so he could be. It could be in the future where he got no longer here and with us, that he will at least be known as the president with 4 impeachments. We do have here as well. We do have the hanged man. It will be enlightenment. We're gonna have a lot of information that they have no choice but to impeach him more than once. We do have here again. We do have the higher from reverse, which is corruption within the government, the refusal to concede to the election. Then we have here as well, we do have the red and blue map, right? We do have here, he upset a lot of people, caused a lot of trauma, and this is going in the future. So whatever is happening in the future, people will not be upset, and there will be a lot more support for this type of move. So I will definitely say for sure, it does appear to me as if he will be impeached for potentially for at least 4 times total. So that's quite interesting to see how that will play out.
Okay, welcome back. I hope you guys enjoyed that little clip. So let's go ahead and let's kind of like do a little quick preview. This is some of my interpretation, modern interpretation, but also interpretation from that video. And you guys let me know in the comments section below what you guys think of that specific clip. We will be using the clip going forward because there's a lot of information on there that we can be covering. Okay, so the first thing is that it talked about, there was talk apparently of a third impeachment at the time of when that video was recorded. So I just want to make sure that is a disclaimer that you are aware of, that at the time of that video, and the reason why I covered the third impeachment and fourth impeachment was essentially because there were talks of a third impeachment at the time of when that video was recorded back in 2021. As we start to go forward, it says 7 official Republicans have been pardoned, with 33 others, which were made 40 in total. I don't know exactly how many people 45 has actually pardoned this year, and I don't know how many people he had pardoned back in 2021. So if you guys can let me know in the comment section below. And one thing I have noticed is that in those videos, I have spoken as if Donald Trump will only win 1 term, which in hindsight, when tarot cards are being asked and questioned, you gotta be very careful. Like you say, okay, what is she gonna do during the time in office? It could be not only giving you information that was happening then, but also give you information that's happening now. And that's why you're going to kind of see how a lot of tarot card readers were wrong, because it's kind of hard to discern 100% what is going on. The cards are never wrong. I always tell you guys this all the time. The tarot cards are never wrong. If the interpreter is wrong, because you may not have the necessary vocabulary to transcribe the energies correctly. So we do have here, it says, feels like another chance, a gift for him. It feels very much so that when I said that, it felt like to me that the impeachment, the third impeachment trial in particular, is a gift to the president. So for some reason, it almost feels like it empowers him and emboldens him in some way. So the third impeachment is going to fail, and it's going to be like the third time the charm, and it just failed. So the third impeachment is going to fail. That has been very consistent with my updated impeachment videos that I have done over the course of the past couple of months. I will put the link to those impeachment videos in the description below. I know a lot of guys were asked. There's that. It says here, quote, next one, impeached 4 times, a record of 4 impeachments, possibly, and this is what I said, it's possibly of 2 per term. So there could be like 2 impeachments during the first term, 2 impeachments during the second term. However, I also thought this was another possibility was, and there could be this outcome. During the first term, there could be 2 impeachments, what there was, and then in the second impeachment, the second term, there would be 1 impeachment, so there would be 3 impeachment total while he's alive, and then the 4th one will come after he dies, and that would be the 4th impeachment. So that is what I have gotten. That is the interpretation here, because it does mention a funeral. Now, going into the reading here, it says as well, it looks like the third impeachment takes place when he's alive, and 4th impeachment takes place after death. So sometime after death. It says third impeachment appears to be based on corruption, and I based that off of what I started talking about corruption in that video. And then the 4th impeachment appears to be based off of election fraud, because I said red and blue map. So I said there's a mention of the red and blue map, the election night. It's not referring to a specific election. At the time when that video was recorded, it was obviously recorded. It was alluring to the 2020 election. However, like I said, tarot cards are never incorrect. It's always interpreted as incorrect. Obviously, we didn't know the outcome of the 2024 election. So Again, the red and blue map could be indicating the 2024, could be indicating 2028, could be indicating 2020, or even 2016. We don't necessarily know what it's indicating in, but one thing is for certain, it's most likely to be based off election fraud. We have here as well, known as president with 4 impeachments. Obviously, the 4 impeachment trial. If he has 4 impeachments, that means the first, the second, the third have all failed, and he's been acquitted in all 3. Does not mention the 4th impeachment, though. The 4th impeachment, he could be convicted even after death. So that's something that's yet to be remained. We have here so much information that they have no choice but to do the impeachment. So there's going to be that enlightenment that comes about where there's too much information and you have no choice but to impeach. We have here corruption within the government. That does not need an interpretation there. Refusal to concede to the election. Possibly this could even be indicated in 2028 if he does decide to run. This entire reading could be spun out of control. And even if he does not get impeached anytime within the next 4 years, and let's say he somehow managed to live and go and run for a third unheard of term for President of the United States in 2028, it's very possible as well that he may not concede that election and he could undergo an impeachment trial there. So there's many ways that this story could play out. So just kind of keep an open mind. But yeah. Anyway, so the next one is he upsets a lot of people and caused a lot of trauma happening in the future is what I said. Yeah, obviously it is happening now pretty relatively. We also have to at least impeach 4 times total. I said at least impeach 4 times. Could that be indicate? It could be indicative of indicating that there could be more than 4 impeachments. 4 impeachments is the mere minimum for Donald Trump. So that could be what it's indicating. Why this is also really important? Well, it's important because it's also my second challenge book. Now, if you guys have remembered, this book is called, let me tell you. Let me get to the beginning of the page. It's called All Knowing, All Seeing, Thy Truth, Thy Future, right? And I believe it's in this one. No, this is the next one. Okay, this is the one. Okay, so this is channel messages on January the 9th, 2025 at 2:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The way I received this information, I just sit down in a very calm demeanor. I listen to meditative music, and I just write down in permanent ink what I'm hearing. I don't question it, I just write it. So it says here, Trump will do something that will blow away the left, then the right. Right? It's I'm just jumping around here. Harris will go on to win the 2020 election if she chooses to do so. For that, the presidency is already hers. Republicans will be found to the hate that consumes them. Inauguration Day will be a day of reckoning for the many. Many will go as many will stay. That could also mean many indications. It could be indicating that like the people who were there on Inauguration Day will not be the ones who will be backing him at the end of his term. It could be also as well that a lot of Americans will be leaving the United States. There's a lot of ways that this could be interpreted, and it could be indicating a whole bunch of different things. We also have here there is no fraud in this election, with the mere exception of manipulation, in whatever form they decide to do it in. So it is essentially saying that there is no fraud, not saying it didn't happen. It's saying that it was manipulated to appear as manipulation rather than fraud, because fraud can be found, manipulation cannot. So therefore, it's under the disguise of manipulation. Congress will decertify the result in due time, but not in which when he is still alive. For that, he will be stripped of his number and title and considered illegitimate. Okay? 3 impeachments will befall the next president. For that, he had already committed 2 major crimes outside the scope of being in office. He sold them out and gave documents away. Fraud would be found on the phone of a nearby foreign adversary, which is the video that we just recently covered. Harris may take her rightful place, but not before she finds and meets a young male. Tim Walz is not likely to become vice president, as we have other plans for him. Okay. I'm going to finish reading this. We're almost done. A major political figure, a woman, will die, one of which has saved democracy when it was called to do so. May she be remembered as a hero. Many women will lose their rights so that they themselves can be prepared and ready to usher in the first woman president. Gaze will suffer at the helm of Orange. I made this so that he himself could seek the highest office. So what does this mean? It can mean two different things. It can indicate that 45 hatred for the LGBTQ community and trans propelled him to the presidency. But also, if you read in between the lines here, I'm going to read it to you again. Gaze will suffer at the helm of Orange. I made this so that he himself could seek the highest office. So this could be indicating a gay male running for president of the United States. We have here many Latinos will be deported, and the age of Reconstruction will begin, which is something that has happened. We have here trust that all is in divine order, and that I have created this so that the desired outcome can be met and reached. Those were the sole contract and must be fulfilled. Many good will come of this decade, but be overshadowed by the evil that consumes the media. Trumpets can only be blown once, but that Trump had already used it up in 2016. The end of challenge at 3:16 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so that is the second channel. I wanted to make sure you guys were up to date and aware of that. So now that we went through the channel in here and also what I covered in the past video, let's go ahead and let's take a look at the third impeachment and just kind of see will Donald Trump be impeached for a third time, excuse me. But we're going to kind of be open to the idea now that he could be impeached in 2028. So we don't really know exactly when he's going to be impeached. He could be during his second term, could be during his third term, fourth term, we don't know. Because, the way this country's going, it is what it is. Alright, anyway, besides the point. So Spirit Angel, tell me about Donald Trump's third impeachment trial. We have talked about in my video that was recorded on January 18, 2021, 4 years ago, was this titled Season 2, Episode 33, January 20th Inauguration. Can you tell us a little bit more about this impeachment, this third impeachment, possibly about corruption, everything we just talked about recently? Can you tell me about this? I love how they just gave me the cards and I didn't even have to do anything. Okay, the first thing it is gonna fail. We have here, this has to do with a past administration. So this has to do with the past administration. So this is Biden. This is also talking about here, it is not in the works right now. So this is the Eight of Pentacles, which is a lot of sense. They withdrew it. So the third impeachment is not something that's currently going, but something that's coming, if you will. Alright, let's go ahead and let's take a look at here. We do have my homemade tarot card deck, which I do actually have the impeachment inside this tarot deck. So it would make sense to use this. So Spirit Angel, tell me about the third impeachment trial of Donald Trump in regards to the information I have covered in today's video. In regards to the third impeachment of Donald John Trump, that's going to obviously fail. But if it does not fail, let me know, because I would like to know. Tell me about this third impeachment trial. Okay. Interesting. It's talking about him and an election against a woman. Interesting. Okay. We have no impeachment trial, but we have here Congress lean Democrat. Then we have here the bottom of the deck here. We have when something's reversed, you flip it. It means young voters, adult voters is reversed, which means experienced leader. Experienced leader. And it has here the selection of 2000, swing seats decide. So it almost like if you guys remember the election of 2000 was indicated where the result or the vote count was stopped or halted. Remember I talked about in my book, it said that there was no fraud, there was manipulation. And I've said many times before, the way that they did it was they were able to go into the coding mechanism of the computers and be able to install a codeware that tells the system, hey, listen, so candidate A, which is the Democrats, right, for example, once they reach a certain amount of votes, they can't go any higher, right? The ballots can be entered in, but they won't be counted toward the total. They just disappear. So there's no record of it. With the Republicans, there is no limit on the coding, so therefore they can go as high as possible. So necessarily it means that the Democrats could win if the Republican turnout is low, but the Republican turnout is a little bit higher than what the Democrats are maxed at. then the Republican will overshadow win that state. That is why many states went by lopsided margin to the Republicans. Now, going back into the reading as well, go ahead and take a look. The first card that we got here for the third impeachment, we have here legality. This is the Queen of Swords reversed. So this is somebody who's coming in with this structure, this idea, this understanding, this comprehension to bring forth the article of impeachment. Right? This is going to come in a time when there is chaos among the country. There's a mess of chaos. But it's going to be forced upon the Democrats or whoever is initiating this type of protocol to initiate the third impeachment trial. They're going to feel in some way compelled to do it because of the chaos that's consuming around the government. Right? So that is what's really interesting as well, because the Queen of Swords is indicating to me there is pressure here. But there is no indication that this is going to come from a Democrat anyway. It can come from a Republican or a Republican teaming up with Democrats. It could be a whole multitude of different things. But it doesn't seem like it's going to be one where it's going to make sense. In some way, this impeachment trial, whatever it is, there's going to be alliances that are going to be remade, if you will. It's going to be like kind of like what you saw with the 1960s election and going forward, where the two parties swapped. You're going to start to see a realignment, alliances being made within Congress, within the Senate, and they're going to come to different agreements. You're going to start to see Democrats, Republicans, different party members all coming together that otherwise you would never see or even think of that they would be in co-joined together. But you're going to start to see a realignment going on in Congress and the Senate. And going back into the reading as well, we do have the King of Cups. So this is going to be a leader who is going to be the one initiating it. So this bill, this article, is going to be introduced during a time of chaos, during a time of upheaval and turmoil. So this is when this is going to be introduced, and it's going to be a full cup. And it's going to be one of sturdiness. So there's going to be a lot of stability within this article. It also tells me as well that this is going to be indicative of somebody. It could even be a young male. There could be somebody of the Republican nature. It could even be very much so. It could be J.D. Vance who helped push forth this idea. Because remember, J.D. Vance can benefit from that because he will be the next one in the line for the presidency, so it would make sense that the motive would be here. However, this is a young male, a young individual who's going to introduce this bill into Congress. We do also have here as well, we do have the 8 of Swords, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 8 of Swords, which means restriction, the ability to restrict something, to stop something, give them a hold. There is something here as being restrictive. We have here as well, we have the 5 of Pentacles, which tell me it looks like it's going to be less than 4, less than 5, or more than 4. So it almost feels like, there's going to be at least 4 articles of impeachment. So what does this mean? It means that within the article of impeachment for the third impeachment, there's going to be 4 sections that's going to indicate why they should impeach the president. They have to convict and impeach him on each section. So there could be like 7 sections in this third impeachment trial, but only 4 of them gets passed. So it's going to be less than 5. It could be 5 or less, but it most likely will be less than 5. So about 4 sections out of whatever is going to get passed. If it's just 4 sections, all 4 is going to get passed. But anyway, going forward, we have here what is challenging the third impeachment. Well, let's take a look. We have here in this upright position is stability. Whether or not you have the ability to do it, whether or not you have the guts to do it. This is represented by the 2 of Pentacles. The 2 of Pentacles is making that decision. You have no choice. Right? This is not a choice anymore. That's why it's going in the past tense. This card here is the past area. This is the past, right? The past tense. We also have here it's followed by it's going to fail. It's going to fail. So this is the 10 of Swords here. Obviously, it makes a lot of sense. If there's going to be more than 3 impeachments, then it makes sense the third impeachment will fail. So the third impeachment, again, will end up in a scenario where 45 judges get impeached in the House of Representatives, but failed in the Senate. So there's that. But now let's look at the overall energy and what's happening in this reading. Let's go ahead. The first card that comes in is we have the Republicans are out of power. That's not true. They are in position of power. They are in the White House. We have here instead, it indicates here 1980s and 1990s. We have here Southern strategy. We have technology boom. We have here impeachment. Oh, look at that. Impeachment trial on the top. Then we have here the Soviet Union versus the USA. So again, this is indicative of the impeachment trial. Makes a lot of sense that comes in. It's going to be during the modern age, the age of technology. We also do have here, it's in regards to the election or something happens. in the election. This could be a midterm. It can be very close. This could be where the Republicans could lose seats or win the seat. But regardless, we have a Senate here that's 51-49, and we have 188 to 199 seats. There could be indicative of the vote House margin, so it could be 199 to 188 of those who vote against the impeachment, whereas 51 to 49 Senate vote in favor of the impeachment. Obviously, it will fail in the Senate because that's not a big majority, but it will pass in the House of Representatives. So that is essentially how that will work. We have here as well, we have the political debate. 2016 talk to voters, know the candidates, election day upset. We have here the political debate. We have him up against a woman. So there is going to be indication here that they're going to be 45 is going to be up against the feminine energy. So this is going to be feminine in nature. It's going to be the thing that takes down the patriarchy. So the third impeachment is going to be all about taking down the patriarchy and trying to dismantle that from within. Obviously, it's going to fail, but it's going to start something, if you will. We do also have here as well is we have woke culture, which is tarot cards and stuff like that. It's reversed, which indicates breaking news, spinning stories, fake news, news media, divide the nation. So the news media is going to essentially spin the story. And this tells me here that the third impeachment trial takes place around the midterms or even around a presidential election. So towards the end of the Trump term, essentially, we're going to start to see the third impeachment start to come out. This could also be very well indicated. Could be number said as well that 45 just somehow makes it into 2028 and he's running for president or whatever. Remember last time he announced that he was running for president back in 2022, and look where we are now. It's very possible that he's going to announce that he's running for a third term around the midterm. That could be something that's on the airway, which could be indicate why there's a political debate here. Could be indicating that, could be indicating a midterm or something of that type of sort. But again, there is some type of election that's occurring. So it's either going to be the midterms or it's going to either be the presidential election. It could even be as well off election. So it could be like Senate race, special election, stuff like that. But that's more unlikely. It's more likely that it's going to occur either around the midterm time period or around the next presidential election in around 2020, 2027. All right, going into the next card here, we have a Democratic president. It's reversed because there is no Democratic president. Instead, we have a Republican president. So like we all know, a Republican is in office right now. We have a Republican individual, and the news media is going to favor the Republican president. We also do have here as well there is something here that is like almost like artificial or theatrical, which is the moon landing. We have here as well, we have COVID vaccine, then we have JFK assassination, the conspiracy theory. There is going to be a conspiracy theory here, and on the back of it, which is reversed with the Constitution and Bill of Rights, something is reversed here. So it's very possible that this impeachment trial could be a rejection of the Constitution and almost essentially giving more power to the president because he abandoned the Constitution in some way. So that could be what this could be indicating. Overall, the bottom of the deck as well is again experienced leader. This is somebody who is an experienced leader. We have here swing states decide 2000. Then on the top of the deck here we have Congress leaning Democrat. So it's very well possible that this could be indicating. It's just say hypothetically there was a scenario where we can witness high voter turnout during the midterm. This could be early voting, but again, we don't necessarily know just yet. But this is what it feels very much so going to happen for the third impeachment. So this feels very much like when he's alive. We are now going to talk about the fourth impeachment trial. Let's go from there, and then we'll end today's video. I figured why not just include both, because it just makes sense to include both, instead of making two separate videos and making you go find both. Just add them in both in one video, because it just makes sense that way. You guys let me know in the comment section below what you guys think of today's video. This is obviously not what I expected, but out of curiosity, it actually took me, in case you're not, 700,000 hours of footage to go through just to find a specific clip. Yeah, it took me months to go through the clip. So that's why like my time is very limited, and I'm gonna have to hire somebody for this type of position to help me out on the channel. And I did briefly mention that what to call it? Maybe it'll be about $20 a week. So about $60 a month. but you will work for 1 hour, so your hour would be paid $20, but you'll work one time a week, and you will essentially do 30 minutes of video watching, and then you will just go on the internet and find something that has happened in news or something like that, and you send me the little timestamp and stuff like that, and I clip the video and I make a YouTube short, or I do another video on that topic. So it helps the channel out, it helps me out a little bit, so I have more time to answer emails, which I have not been able to have any time to do. So I do apologize. I do have to hire somebody for that because I am swamped with time. But anyway, guys, let's go ahead. Let's do the fourth impeachment. So Spears and Andrews, tell me about the fourth impeachment of Donald Trump. We talked about it possibly occurring after a death or around a funeral. Can you tell us a little bit more about this information around the fourth impeachment of Donald John Trump, the President of the United States? Jesus. Okay. That's the way it found. That's the way it's going. Donald John Trump, the fourth impeachment. The fourth impeachment of the President of the United States. We kept getting death around this time period during the fourth impeachment. Is it possible that he could be dead by the time this fourth impeachment comes around? Fourth impeachment. Okay, Donald John Trump, the fourth impeachment. The fourth impeachment occurring after death, possibly, so around a funeral, due to an election fraud. Okay. Bottom deck here, we have the Knight of Cups reversed, not pure intentions. And the top of the deck here, oh, interesting. So not pure intentions, right, with the cups. But we do have here on the top right, the top card here. What's interesting, we have two horses, but we have a white one down and a black one up. And this is somebody who's waiting to come in. So this is waiting. This is bound to happen. It's just waiting its time. And this is the Knight of Pentacles, right? This is the guy who's waiting. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's ask some cards here. Spirit Angels, tell me about Donald Trump's fourth impeachment, right? Possibly after death. Tell us more about that. Donald Trump's fourth impeachment. Okay, Donald Trump's fourth impeachment. Donald Trump's fourth impeachment trial. Okay, Donald Trump's fourth impeachment. Donald Trump's fourth impeachment. Okay. There's a lot of information. Is this good? They tell me to put it back. Okay, Donald Trump's fourth impeachment. This one, it could be where he gets convicted. But if, we don't have any more impeachments after that. But there will be a continuum of impeachments, but we'll see. Spirit Angel telling me Donald Trump impeached for the fourth time the President of the United States. Can you tell us about that? Apparently there was around a funeral time period, possibly after he dies. Okay. I don't like how all that flew out, but I guess we'll just leave it. This came here, so I'm just going to leave that here. What about these two? Okay, they're telling me to take the middle two. Okay. So I guess that came in. So just leave that there. And then the Five of Cups. Donald Trump's fourth impeachment trial. Tell us more about it. Okay, thank you. Oh, look at this. Okay, the top of the deck. We have here removed from power. Okay. And we have here domestic terrorist attack. Okay. And what's in the bottom? We have here swing state decides. Remember this again. We talked about this. What's in the reverse? We have infrastructure. So it's a domestic terrorist attack on infrastructure. It talks about supply and demand. So it could be also on the economy. But it's going to be infrastructure and the supply and demand. And it's also going to take place in the Midwest. Okay. And the top of the deck here, we have here removed from power being the top of the card. The card that comes underneath it is the original 13 colonies, American Revolution, Article of Confederation, Pennsylvania Avenue. So again, this what it is saying is that a president is removed from Pennsylvania Avenue because he is a king, right? And you have the American flag. Going back to our roots. Okay. At least that's been declared. At least we've been able to get that information. Okay, so let's go ahead. So the first card that comes in as well as we have the King of Pentacles. This is a card that indicates Donald Trump. As you all know, that when this card is upright, it means that the person is in position of power, which means they are currently in control of something. When this is reversed, they lose power, they are not in control, they are going to be defeated. This card is upright. It's upright for a couple of reasons. It's upright because it's indicating to us that this is the time period where he ruled with an iron fist. That's what I'm getting. There's iron fist here. There is seal. There's something here with seal. Other than that card that comes in here is we have the Seven of Pentacles upright, looking at our option, looking at the same thing. So it's telling me here that there are so many things that they can impeach him on. The question is, for the fourth impeachment, what would that entail? What can they impeach the president on exactly within this fourth impeachment? We also have here in the back side here, we have the King of Cups. Remember I talked about this card again being the third one. Now this time it comes in, but it's chaotic leader in the midst of calmness, which means that after Donald Trump is gone or during around this time of the fourth impeachment, we're going to see an outcome or a scenario where, what do you call it? The country is calm and it's now ready and accepting to accept that there could be a fourth impeachment of Donald Trump. It could also be indicating after he dies, because remember, we have here the King of Pentacles. He's in control. He rules with an iron fist. Remember I talking about the iron seal? Ruling with an iron fist. But remember when I always told you many times before is that when somebody is in a chair and it's reversed, it can mean they're out of power, they're no longer there, they're no longer in position. That could be what this is indicating. It could be indicating that, okay, so 45 is here. He rules with an iron fist, right? But then in the next outcome here, which is the King Cup reverse, he is no longer in position of power. This is sometime after he's out of office. And we have here it's the Seven of Pentacles, looking at the thing that they could impeach him on, convict him on, because they feel like he has no longer power, because now that he's no longer ruling with an iron fist, they cannot go after him, right? It's almost like the chains are lifted, the oppression is gone. And underneath here, the next card that comes in, we have the Lovers card, bipartisanship. There's going to be bipartisanship or unity within this type of agreement when it comes to the fourth impeachment trial. Like I said, there's going to be a release of some sort that's going to, what do you call it? It's going to unify the country in some way. Now, I have talked about this many times since that video. I have talked about how the United States in particular is going to convict Donald Trump after he is gone or has passed away. And particularly, he's going to be convicted and found guilty, not because it benefits those in power, but particularly it sets the guidelines of what is not acceptable for a president to do after Trump has died. So it's really more so not to convict the President of the United States, but it's more so to convict and uphold the standard of practice that is not allowed or accepted going forward here in the United States. So again, what is the Lovers card telling us? The Lovers card is telling us there is going to be bipartisanship, and they're going to be thinking about the long-term future of the United States, and that long-term future of the United States is going to be indicative and indicating to a lot of people that, hey, listen, the president's going to be convicted regardless, and we're going to have to convict him. Right? So that is what that card is coming in. The next card that does come in as well is we have the Two of Cups reversed. It's the idea that, the Republicans will not be able to essentially get on board, but they're going to have no choice. They're going to have to get on board. These are the Republicans, the new party. It feels like very much so the Lovers card at this point in time. These are new people. These are almost like Congress in some ways new. In the Senate is new. I don't feel like there's new. There's a lot of newness here that they go and state this is not acceptable of the president, and this is what's setting a precedent for future presidents. We can't convict him because he's gone, but we're going to convict him anyway because it's to set a precedent going forward that this is not acceptable. We also have here as well, we have the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups, I don't know if there's going to be any indication that there's going to be a fifth impeachment, but it looks like the fourth impeachment is the final now. But again, like I said, it happens after, when it's too late. We do also have here as well, we do have walking away, looking at the optics here, right? He gets away with a lot of his crimes. So like I said, there's only be looking like more likely he's only be for impeachment. He gets away with a lot, and that's how a lot of people feel like he got away. And this is the King, the Knight of Swords, which is indicating to us that this is going to be fast-paced movement. A lot of people feel like he got away and death has taken him, and that he was never able to really witness his punishment, if you will. Okay, so going into the other cards now, let's go ahead and let's take a look at all that. We have here, the first card that comes in on the top is we have DACA, Dreamers, Sheila My Job, Build a Wall, Immigration. So again, Iron Fist, Immigration. He's coming in. How does he rule in with an Iron Fist as president? Well, he's threatening to immigrate or to lock people up using certain officers and exercising a duty to, again, bring an iron fist to people. We also have here what is crossing the King of Pentacles. It's the charismatic leader. Again, the politician. This is Donald Trump. He is a charismatic leader, whether we want to admit that or not. Well, he holds a lot of power over a large group of people. Under here as well, we also have here Blue Lives Matter, which is the police. There will be a reformation of the police. There will be a change because of what they did, which is this. So it doesn't mean that this is exactly going to be happening, but it's the oppression, his abuse of officers and people using their role as a protector of society against the American people. So that's what it feels like very much, so that there can be a change coming to anything that's with the quote or the name officer. We also do have here the Republicans they no longer hold the House. So they won't hold the House anymore. They won't hold the Congress. So this is going to be around a time that possibly it's indicating to me already that the Democrats could possibly win the 2026 midterm, but that is yet to be determinative. This could also be indicating here as well that this could be a time when the Democrats are in control. So this could be around the 2020 election where the Democrats gain back the Congress again, and this could be a Democratic Congress. But that's what that could, excuse me, that's what that could be indicating. On the Seven of Pentacles and the King of Cups reversed, which means removal from power, we have here the music industry, which is singing and dancing and whatnot. There's a lot more not to look forward to because so much information is happening. We have here in reverse, we have here 285 to 299 electoral votes, 188 to 199 seats, so the impeachment does go through. However, the Senate is still 51-47. 49 Senate. So that is yet to be determinative of whether or not that is going to be within that margin. This again could be the election. So this feels very much so that the fourth impeachment takes place after 2028 presidential elections, so around 2029 and within 2030 is when the fourth impeachment starts to take place. Yeah, that's what I'm getting in this aspect here. There could just be the margin. There could be the margin of victory. So like the Republicans are 188, 199, and the Democrats are 151. 49 Senate, but the Democrats gain the House and the Senate and the presidency. So there could be a trifecta that's going to be indicating. We also do have here, this is going to be during a time of a Great Depression, an economic crash. So this is going to take place after a time of economic crash, and the control of capitalism on the American society has collapsed. The monopoly has ended, the wealth gap, the robber bank barons, pro-capitalism, Rockefeller and Carnegie. Monopoly has ended here in the United States because of the economic collapse. It creates change, so there's going to be around a time of change. This fourth impeachment comes in. We also do have here again the rise of third parties, strong third party support, better choices, your voice is heard, the two-party dominate. This is talking about the third parties, now the rise of third parties. So that is something that's going to take place here as well, which could be indicating why it can be very hard to really pinpoint what's happening. We did talk about this before as well in Happy Death Day, which is, we're going to talk about this soon, but this is called the rise of the independents. And we talked about this briefly in David Hogg's video, if you have not done so already and watched that. But we did talk about the rise of third parties. This is going to be around as indicated in this time period, which means the 2020 election is appearing to be like it's going to be a two-party system, but going into the 2030s, it's not going to be very much the same thing. We also do have here the Lovers card, which is bipartisanship. We do have the control of the Democrats, again, are able to control more seats and more flips, which is going to make this probability of impeachment more likely, and it's going to be unheard of to impeach a president well beyond the deathbed. So it does indicate to me that he is removed from power, he's gone by this point, and this is like the country reshuffling, getting ready to set certain precedents, certain normalities, what's to be expected, what's not to be expected. So there's a lot of changes coming after Donald Trump, which is why we've been covering Happy Death Day. We also do have here, we do have the Two of Cups reversed. The Two of Cups reversed is that agreement of people coming together. There's going to be unheard of alliances. We do have here the challenge of the Republicans no longer having control of the White House and being challenged by Reagan's win in 1984 landslide. We're going to know a little bit more information, little bit more information about how Reagan really won in 1984 and how that shifted and led to the rise of Donald Trump and how that played a role and how that essentially enabled Donald Trump in some way and how Reagan set the groundwork for Donald Trump to come in, and it's possibly as well that they could be indicating there could be found information that Reagan was a spy or working as a spy for another country. We do also have here as well, we do have the 5 of Cups reversed, which means there can be less than 5 impeachments. We do also have here scientific revolution. We have here DNA, artificial intelligence, technology, understanding physics, solar system, and extraterrestrial. So around this time period, we're going to have a rise of a new system of government, a new understanding of our world around us, that we are not minor. So it's going to make it appear as if there's going to be new diplomacy efforts. So this is kind of a way to essentially allow the United States to essentially say, hey, listen, we got to rein in our future president, because just say this would happen externally outside the planet, and this would happen with extraterrestrials, and you start putting tariffs on extraterrestrial planets or whatever, we could be in a war, and we don't want to be in an intergalactic war. So that's essentially what it's doing, is essentially thinking ahead. And so there might be some indication around this point that we could be in contact with extraterrestrials, so, or even life. I'm also getting as well that there could be as well, we were talking about this in the video a long time, it's not coming anytime soon, so I'm not really too concerned about doing this video, but I have gotten many times that there could be possibility and plausibility that we could be talking about and discussing our very first artificial intelligence or robotic president of the United States. So that we're heading in that direction. That's where we're heading. This is something I gotten years ago. I had not done this video. This is the first time I'm actually talking about it today. We are almost done, so I'm just gonna quickly finish this. We also do have here as well is people feeling like he's not gotten away with whatever happened, and they're moving with resilience and high speed to get this impeachment through. And however, we do have the House is up for grabs, which means it's still very much undecided whether or not the impeachment is going to go through or not. But this is kind of like telling me the groundwork is laying down the environment, it's laying down the groundwork, it's laying down everything about what's going to happen around the 4th impeachment, and it's going to take place again after the time when Donald Trump is out of office. This card could be indicating that he is convicted, removed from power, or it could be indicating that he's gone from power when this 4th impeachment takes place. We also have here as well, this is going to be due to a domestic terrorist attack that has occurred. So we will wait and see and find out what happened. Alright guys, thank you for watching. I hope you guys liked today's video. I know this is a lot longer than anticipated, but I do hope that this was informative and a video that you guys enjoy. So anyway guys, thank you. I love you. Have a good night, and I'll see you all next time. Until then, peace out.